I'm Rotus. How's everybody doing? Shout out to everybody that's working on less than 2 hours of sleep. All right, you had to do the work. We're doing the work, so thankfully we get to sleep real heavy this evening. Okay, so it's Tech Friday, so do send in your messages 0809 444 0981. We are streaming live on YouTube, youtube.com/smooth981. Also, follow us on Twitter at smooth981fm. Follow me on Twitter as well. Rotan Quotes, ROTANKWOT. So what is going on in the tech world? Start off with Carbon. We all know who Carbon is, right? The fintech platform. Carbon wants to expand across the African continent. So what they're doing is they're putting up some money, $100,000. Okay, I know it doesn't sound like much, but hey, you got to start small. In fact, somebody in a group that I'm in where we talk about tech, someone said, wait, so a startup that is still in the startup phase is putting up money for other startups. You got to grow. You got to grow. So it's $100,000. They're looking for 5% equity in 10 different tech companies. So 5% across the 10, a total of 50% equity in these different companies. And they want to help the other companies, these tech companies and tech startups, to be able to scale. So the thing is, Carbon, they've built a decent customer base. Yeah, they're giving out loans, they're doing payments, they're doing investments, doing all kinds of stuff. So the 10,000 across the African continent for 10 different startups will allow the startups to also have access to Carbon's customer base and allow them to possibly scale their own businesses. And I mean, this is how the game works. If any one of those startups should blow up, that 5% equity, think about it, you invested $10,000 in them, and if they actually, blow up a year, 2 years from now, your 5%, will go a long way towards the increased valuation of that company. So it's a smart move. It's a smart move. Carbon, by the way, is one of the few fintech companies that somehow is still able to offer double-digit returns on investments. But folks are still saying that with what the central bank has done with OMO bills and restricting folks, that those rates will have to come down. But then now I've noticed that different platforms are now saying, well, you got to keep your money for about a full year. It has to be a certain amount. There's certain conditions in order to be able to offer double-digit rates that compete with inflation. Keep inflation in mind, though. We got January inflation earlier this week, 12.13% year on year. That is your benchmark for any investment that you're looking to go into in order for you to get your a positive real return. So yeah, I think they were talking to Business Day. The name of the fund is the Disrupt Fund. Are we tired of this word? Are we tired, Lagos? No, we're not tired. It's because it's still a buzzword. I would have disrupt to still be a buzzword in 2020, but that's what Carbon is calling it. It's called the Disrupt Fund. They're going to invest $10,000 per startup for 5% equity and access to Carbon's API, which will allow them to leverage again on their customer base, their platform, and allow them to scale. So we'll have to see how that goes. What's that quote that Chijioke Doze said? He's the CEO and co-founder of Platform. He said, if you want to go fast, you can go alone. If you want to go far, we go together. Where's his quote? It says the investing environment, I'm quoting him now, for early stage startups has improved in recent years. However, a key issue for most startups that has not been addressed is the cost of customer acquisition. A lot of money is spent on acquiring customers mainly via social media, when a more collaborative approach amongst tech companies could be more efficient. So, I mean, I think one of the watchwords for this new year has been for tech companies to get together and see how they can leverage each other's advantages. Now, of course, there's been some pushback on that because some feel that, well, if I collaborate with this particular company, I might be, losing out on trade secrets. I'm opening myself up to them. But hey, you have to weigh the pros and cons. So we'll see how that goes. It's early in the year. We're going to see how, what transpires and which particular companies they end up investing in. But good on them. To the corona, is it possible to talk on any radio or TV station this year so far and not talk about the coronavirus? A company has done a poll, I believe, a research TrendForce, a research report looking at particular disruptions. Now we're using disruptions the other way, that the coronavirus have caused on particular technology, on particular tech products. So I believe they did this safely away from Wuhan. I don't think they were in there when this happened, but they were looking at particular items that are going to be disrupted. So one of them is smartphones. They said that smartphone production in the first quarter of 2020 is predicted to drop by about 12% year on year. It's going to be one of the lowest quarters for smartphone production within the past 5 years, because the supply chain for smartphones is highly labor intensive, and of course, China being the manufacturing hub of the world, with a lot of these manufacturing hubs for smartphone productions based there, we're going to see a disruption with regards to first quarter numbers for smartphones. So as the reports, let's see, it highlights that smartphone parts in the upstream supply chain, including passive components, camera modules, all those little bits and pieces, that's going to be affected because of the virus, and with how China is situated at the center of it all. So smartphones is one. What numbers are we looking at total of? 2020 smartphone production could reach 1.3 billion units, which is a decline year on year from the lowest output since 2016. Still, that number could actually go lower depending on how bad things go. So one is smartphones. That's one particular item. Next, 5G technology. Now, I remember when I went to Abuja at the behest of one of the telcos who was testing it. A lot of you had some cynical things to say about testing 5G in Nigeria, but we have to move forward, yeah? So smartphones is one, 5G technology is two, another thing that could actually be disrupted. Nigeria is planning on trying to expand on 5G. However, Wuhan, the center of the virus outbreak, is home to some of the world's largest 5G manufacturers of 5G infrastructure. I think PCB is one of them, and optical fibers. So because it's ground zero, the 5G supply chain is expected to be negatively affected. So smartphones is one, 5G technology is two. So what's third? Notebooks, LCD monitors, LCD TVs. That's also hit manufacturers of those particular items, because again, that's also situated there in China, in Wuhan. That's going to be affected as well. And then what was the fourth item that they looked at? LEDs, lights emitting diodes. So LED screens is another thing that's going to be affected as well. So if you look at those four, this I don't know how many of you are familiar with the term black swan. A black swan event is something that is completely unknown, that's completely not foreseen. I think when 2020 is concluded, this virus is definitely going to be looked at as a black swan event. There's also suspicion, I think I've mentioned this before, that China hasn't been very forthcoming with their information with regards to exactly how many people are being infected and how many people have died from it. The numbers are there, right? I think it's over 75,000 now that have been infected, and over 13 or 1,500 that have died. However, World Health Organization workers tried to enter mainland China to observe what was going on. They weren't allowed to go in. I don't know why you would not allow them to come in and kind of observe what's going on. So that's kind of made folks a little nervous as to whether or not this thing could actually be worse than it already is. But I think oil prices now, as of yesterday, I think they touched $59. The markets, you'll get one piece of news, they think things are getting better. Prices go up, then they hear the death toll goes up, then prices come down. So anyway, summary. The four tech items, amongst others from TrendForce, that are looking to be affected in the first quarter of 2020: smartphones, 5G technology infrastructure, notebooks, LCD monitors, LCD TVs, and LEDs. So if you think about what that now means for companies that sell these things, your big electronics firms, we already saw Apple give their guidance as to their numbers coming down for the first quarter of the year and so on. You can see the ripple effects. The airline industry in particular, moving away from that, from tech, airline industry has been heavily affected by the virus. So I mean, look, we're looking at a complete global downturn, possibly, depending on how things turn out. All right, to ride sharing now, there's some talk that GIG Logistics, God is good, love that name. God is good Logistics is possibly looking to partner with Ride. I think it was, who reported this? It was either Business Day or Tech. I think it was TechPoint. Yeah, TechPoint reported this. Last week we talked about Gokada shifting over to logistics because, I mean, where else are they going to go with all those bikes, right? And now with Allride and GIG Logistics possibly partnering again, it's rumor though, so it's not something that is set in stone, but with them possibly partnering, it allows Allride to go into the logistics space. Now, again, what I said last week. Is this not already saturated? But I think it was Taiwo that was saying that, well, no, there's possibly space in that area for them to operate, and so this is a collaboration that possibly will make sense for both parties. Deliveries. We rely on them, of course. Lagos State has already said that you can't move around the state unless you are, at least in the areas where restrictions have been made. You can't move around unless you're doing logistics. So we'll see how that goes. I think yeah, GIG, I think they've come out with they've expanded as well. They've it's expanded in the tech space. They have an app now with regards to deliveries, so you can actually request whatever it is that you want picked up through their app. And they're also doing the transportation. They're in the transportation space as well. So it sounds like a good marriage, and it looks like it might work. Now, does anyone remember? Was it Monday or was it last Friday where I said I had some gist about a particular ride sharing company that was being launched. Now the gist is, was anyone follow David? Is it David Hyundai? Oh, okay. He's a journalist that writes for Quartz. He writes for Business Day. He writes for a number of publications. The ride sharing company is called MyCab, and the cab is spelled with a K. Right? I don't know how many of you are familiar with them, but there's their app. I think the app is out. Website is out. There, it is alleged that the owners of MyCab, again, I say this carefully, alleged. All right, so one has to investigate these things thoroughly. But he came out and put it on his Twitter, right? And this guy is a popular journalist that writes factual stuff. So I'm going off of what he said. He said that it is alleged that some of the folks, the owners behind MyCab, are possibly linked to the same people who restricted the aforementioned ride-sharing bikes and have started putting on the squeeze on the Ubers and Bolts of this world. They're the ones behind MyCab. Now, you know, when you normally, if you go to Gokada's website or you go to any other websites and you look at the about page and look at the teams, the people who are behind the company, you'll see it. Everybody knows who the CEOs of these other companies are. But with MyCab, I went to the website, I checked it out. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. And also, if next time you take if you take a ride with one of the other ride sharing vehicles, have a chat with the drivers. Apparently, they all have their own little WhatsApp groups where they all discuss these things. So I've asked a couple of the drivers. I'm trying to do my own little investigation. I asked a couple of the drivers, "Hey, listen, have you heard of this company?" They said yes. Do you know who's behind it? They were like, none of them knew who was behind it. So we have to see, you know. But it's a very for David to come out and say, well, these are the people behind it. Very interesting. If it turns out that it's right, ha. Hold on, I haven't even read my messages. Yinka says, "Hey Rotus, so a colleague asked me yesterday, did you hear anything about 5G again? Compared to the noise they made about it earlier. For the first time in a very long while, I was mute." Okay, so yeah, okay, yes, okay, that's true. We haven't heard anything in a while, but remember, Yinka, that was a demo. That thing I went for in Abuja was a demo. It was a demo. They were testing it out just to test the waters, right? So as far as the rollouts across the country, and they've been quiet a little bit because it's going to take some time. In fact, one of my other stories here is not even on 5G, it's on 4G. Where is that story? I believe it's Nine Mobile. They got a 200, yeah, Nine Mobile. They're pushing their 4G expansion. So, you know, some companies are just still staying in the 4G lane. They got a part of the $230 million loan facility that they got from the AFC, the Africa Finance Corporation, back in August of 2019. Nine Mobile is using that to push 4G. So some companies they're not even trying to get into the 5G lane yet. Where are those states? So 4G expansion, Nine Mobile. Aba, Abuja, Nasarawa, Calabar, Enugu, Kaduna, Kano, Lagos, Niger, Onisha, where okay, some cities are also thrown in there, Port Harcourt, and so on, Uyo, and so on. So that's where we are with the 4G, 5G, 4G, 5G conversation. Still not quite there yet. And of course, I know the argument, Inka. Infrastructure is not quite there yet. Some parts of Nigeria, you don't even have 3G, right? So I understand. I get it, but doesn't mean that you can't at least try. Um, Okay, yes. Mike, great. Thank you for this message. Yeah, Larry Tesla, the inventor of copy and paste, died on the 16th. May he rest in peace. Yeah, that man saved us a whole lot of headache. Yeah, the popular inventor of copy and paste. Who doesn't use copy and paste? I mean, it's massive. May he rest in peace. So it was a big time invention for us. Um, okay. Yinka says, Rota, it's about China's Huawei 5G Wahala. I got you. Well, look, we'll see how it goes, Yinka. We'll see how it goes. Let's see here. This is from let's see whose messages. You have to attach your name. James has sent an okay. James, I have to take a look at this. I think you might be asking about an investment. Skyway Capital. Haven't heard of them, but I'll look it up. James, thank you for that. Shion says there's no lights. Haven't had power for 2 days. We don't need 5G. We have not mastered ordinary lights. I see the arguments always pop up. Sean, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. I hear you loud and clear. Guys, check out this particular startup. I'm really excited to talk about these guys. They're called So Care. Yeah. They've launched a InsurTech, a low-cost micro health insurance platform that can be paid for by collecting recyclable materials. So what they've done is that they've partnered with some platforms who try to provide uh, insurance for slum dwellers, uninsured pregnant women and children who cannot afford to pay cash for insurance. So what it is they would collect recyclable rubbish as a financial resource, give it to their partners, who will then take those items and then sell them to others, and then now use that to pay for their insurance. I don't, it sounds like a notable idea. I mean, one has to see how far that can go, but I think it's a pretty nice initiative as far as you're taking care of the climate and the recycling issue. We talked about plastic and all that in the past, and climate change, and also using that to provide insurance for people who are not able to afford it. So pretty good idea there. Um, Kewa says, good morning. Is it true Uber wants to leave Nigeria because VIO is disturbing their drivers? No, I haven't heard. They won't leave. The market is massive, so I haven't heard anything about leaving. I think they're still here to stay. Let's see here. Abigail. Okay, Abigail is asking about the video from yesterday. Abigail, should be on my Twitter. The corn investments. You check it out. It's on Twitter. Okay, only a couple minutes left. It's about a minute now, a week of birthdays. So I want to give a shout out to Ugo Dre. Ugo Dre's birthday is today. Happy birthday to Ugo Dre of Nairametrics. My birthday is tomorrow. I'm a day after him. I'm spending my birthday tomorrow. I'm going to be in a nice, I don't know, sports bar or hotel watching Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder fighting tomorrow. Who else? Happy birthday to Edward, Chidima, all this week, all of you, all this week. Happy birthday to all the February babies, as we look to be another year older. What else is going on in tech, guys? We're going to probably start. Okay, wait, Francis has a message. I think Francis' message is what I will end with. Okay, my Twitter handle. It's okay. First, Francis, we follow Smooth FM at Smooth91 FM, and then my handle is Rotan Quotes, ROTANKWOT. All right, guys, have a lovely weekend. Stay safe. I will see you all on Monday. Business Express, Smooth 98.1, Tech Friday, signing out. Take care.
Brought to you by InterSwitch. Transaction solutions you can depend on.
Is it possible for someone to dash you a tier rubber SUV with free petrol for 1 year? Or for your boss to pay your salary 4 months in advance? Or for your landlord to give you 70% discount on your next rent? Is it even possible for a bus conductor to allow passengers enter without paying? Some things may be impossible, but on QuickTeller, everything is possible. Like shopping from over 100 international stores on QuickTeller Global Mall, paying your estate levy, toll gate fees, buying event tickets, funding your betting wallet, sending money, paying electricity bills, school fees, buying airtime, everything. Download the QuickTeller app or visit quickteller.com to make that payment now. QuickTeller, everyday payments made easy.
Say again. Okay. All right.